So yeah, the first question would be for every one of you to explain who you are, what you do, and why Web3 gaming, in your opinion.
Okay, I'm Facu, one of the founders of Auxilian. Actually, we are doing a huge announcement today that is Sigurd is merging with Horizon Blockchain Games. It's the first time we say it. Thank you. So the main idea here is to bring one of the biggest platforms in the industry, really strong into Latin America, and help and give Web3 gaming developers superpowers. That's it. So yeah, that's it.
Not this 60.
Hello, Sam for you.
Alright. My name is Eliza. I'm a founder and CEO of Trax. Trax is a blockchain games microcredit protocol. We believe that games can make the financial access for the people. And yeah, for me, Web3 games, it's a really exciting thing. Blockchain games changed my life in 2020. I have huge opportunities in the last year, and I saw these opportunities come to other peoples in Brazil, like single moms, like Uber drivers, people with health problems, and just players that we have the imaginary. And yeah, for me, it's really amazing. I think it's not the future; it's now blockchain games.
The first game you played was Axie Infinity, where you could select.
Yeah, X Infinity with 6,000 players in the world. I see the all curve of 6,000
Really?
to 2 million. Yeah, I saw the born of all builds in Brazil. I saw the born of all influencers, and it's really amazing to see what the Brazilian games market come to be now. This big ecosystem with people that are very passionate about that. But I'm lovely. I'm falling in love with X Infinity yet.
You can, of course. Yeah, thank you. Hello. Mariano, what about you?
Hello, yeah. And thank you for coming and joining us tonight. I'm Mariano, co-founder and CEO of Sura Gaming. I'm quite different here. I'm not coming from the gaming side, not the blockchain. I'm coming from the business. I started with blockchain and gaming in 2021 just as a financial endeavor, investing in Max Infinity and giving scholarships to the people who can play and make a living at that time. And when we realized that there was something else that the people was wanting, besides having money, the sense of belonging, playing in a community, being part of something, we start to change the business. And now we are doing the same we used to do for different games. We build a whole Web3 gaming ecosystem in which we do incubation, acceleration, we do also investments, and we do user acquisition and growth. So we try to cover the full scope on Web3 gaming.
Awesome, thanks. If we have to talk about the states of the Web3 gaming ecosystem in Latam, I think we need to talk about adoption. Like how we can understand adoption in Latam. We have Argentina, we have Brazil. So I think the first question will be about Argentina, starting with you, Facundo. Why do you think Argentina is actually rely on blockchain? They actually go to blockchain.
Yeah, for me, the Web3 gives you can get out of all the problems that is going on in the Argentinian economy. And that is very positive for the industry because people is getting into the industry and because it's about their money, they are really studying about the technology. And when you really study about this technology, you find a hammer to new problems that you can solve. And that is why in Argentina we have these amazing entrepreneurs and these amazing companies. So yeah, it starts by the economics problems and get all around the world to have the best products in Web3 in Latin America.
Enter.
Yeah, I agree with Paco. And gaming has a huge adoption in South America, specifically in Argentina and all the other countries too. Gaming in general. And blockchain gaming has a different component because many people started with this as a backup for their money with crypto adoption. The crypto adoption is too high in South America, and specifically in countries where the currency has a lot of fluctuations. So I believe that there is a lot of ways to understand the phenomenon, which is the web blockchain gaming in South America.
Is it the same for you, Elo? Do you see what's happening in Brazil in terms of adoption of blockchain based on the economic factor of it?
Sure, sure. In Brazil, we have one big issue that's our economic landscape. Yeah. Now, for me, is that, and in the future, I believe it's most about ownership. But now it's most about economic things.
I get it. Yeah, that's the second phase of what will happen in blockchain gaming, understanding the ownership.
I'm sorry for that.
That will be the second phase. First phase was monetary, economic. Second phase will be ownership, of understanding the ownership.
Exactly. For me now, it's important. We created a lot of technologies that possibility gamers use blockchain with no idea it's a blockchain. Blockchain like invisible technology. We have a lot of projects that see blockchain like a proposition of value, and it's not that blockchain is just the technology. But the value, it's financial access, ownership, interoperability, other things. It's important see the vision and use this vision or the value and use the technology, okay, to make it most fast and quickly and move forward the guys.
Yeah, I agree. We today we talk about blockchain gaming, Web3 gaming, because we need to give awareness about the technology. But for the players, they don't care. Like they don't go to Steam. They won't go to Steam, or if Steam is okay with that, not now. But they won't go to Steam and say, "I want to play a blockchain game. I just want to play a game with some incentivization in terms of financially and ownership." So definitely agree. Okay, first week, Games from Latam, first edition. Before that big festival. How did you feel about that? Like for each one of you, was it your first time? And how did you feel about your experience at Get From Latam in the perspective of gaming as a whole and around blockchain? So yeah, hello, if you can start.
Okay. We have 1,000 development studios in Brazil, a lot of game studios, and a big festival with really famous in Brazil. But it's really amazing to see what's a big festival will become. Nice buffs, nice games. I don't know the word in English, but it's a curadoria, yeah. But it's really, really amazing. I'm thinking now this event it's bigger and we have more opportunity to know new titles and then make more business. The most of games studios in Brazil is just for the passion. Don't think about monetization, but we need to pay the bills. Yeah, we need to thinking in how we can bigger our studio, how we can bigger our projects, and I'm thinking with the new Gamescom, the merger of big, the games have this vision. Okay, I need created beautiful games, powerful games, really fun, but I need to pay the bills, and after that, I'm thinking the awards and the other things.
Yeah, for me, it's the first time here in Gamescom, a big festival. But I've been in many blockchain and gaming events all around the world, and what I saw here, it's too little blockchain gaming. And I understand why. There is a lack of education and information about blockchain. For many times, blockchain was put in front of the game and in front of everything, and there was a lot of scams. So most studios are afraid of saying, "Oh, blockchain is like, take care. There are scams, there are scammers," but we need to keep doing this kind of events and we keep doing education in different levels so all the studios can learn that technology is good, that there is new ways to get some money legally without scamming anyone, and for the people to have ownership of their assets. So we need to keep doing this.
And what I see here is I speak with a lot of Web2 developers that I think we need to consider and to bring into this world that we are in. That is, every single game developer that I talk to, he said to me that he invests a lot in himself. he started with one friend and he learned all the tools with all the providers that they have, and they start from the beginning, just building honestly, and now we see the booth and the amazing business. But at first it was hard, and they invest in themselves, and I think we need to take that approval, leave away the money side that crypto offers, and build good stuff. That I think that is the way to win here.
Love it. I could applaud for that. So yeah, for sure. Thanks a lot, everyone, for this panel. We're gonna have the second one about ownership. You know, we talk about that a little bit, but there is a lot to unpack. So thanks again. I think one of the best questions here is it will be like if you can tell a little bit what you are doing on your company and how you have been here on Games. So how are you having fun? You make connections, please.
So hey everyone, good night. My name is Leonardo. I'm the principal game designer from Hermit Spread. We are a medium-sized company from Porto Alegre. We develop games with brands. We have developed games with Barcelona. We have developed with a lot of sport kind of companies and brands. Today we are working with Rumble Kong League as a Web3 game, and we are trying to do a lot of new projects on the Web3, but trying to do with a connection between brands, like how to bring brands to the Web3. It has Rumble Kong has been very well done with some promotions of Gatorade, and we have trying to create something like a sustainable environment for the community. So I'm the game designer there. I'm really not the brain on the Web3, but I'm the person that I'm trying to create the game itself and how we can connect the game itself with the players and breaking this difficulty of Web2 to Web3 players, and how to make the transition to a platform that has get a tag of a skin, like how they had said previously. So that's pretty much my job done. And it has been hard, but it has been very fruitful.
Awesome, Leonardo. Thank you. Martin, if you can tell us about your company, how you're feeling here in Sao Paulo.
Ok, boa noite a todos. Afortunadamente no voy a tentar falar en português, ok? So thank you very much for inviting me, and so sorry for my delay. It was a bio break that too long. So my name is Martin Pineto. I'm the founder of Widow Games, which is a video games developer company that I founded 12 years ago. That means that we have developed more than around 30 mobile games in this time, and we started playing around blockchain 3 years ago. We launched our first game it's called Geopoly. It was a mix between Pokemon Go and Monopoly, and actually in Brazil it has a local version called Banco Imobiliário Rio, seguramente você conhecem. And then now we are creating a new game called Live Meta, which is basically The Sims, but with AI. So it's interesting. I don't know how it's going to get, but it's interesting at least. About Gamescom, I've been here in the Brazilian Independent Game Festival for quite some time, and I was amazed of the size that now with the Gamescom has. So it's amazing that big publishers are coming to Latam. I'm Argentinian, so I understand that for a lot of publishers, Latam start with Brazil, and I would do the same, because of the bigger market. But it's amazing that at least they're putting their first footprint here. So thank you again for inviting me, and hopefully we have something interesting to share.
That's awesome, Martin. Thank you so much. So, Lucas, can you tell more about? Yes, can you tell more about your company and how you're feeling on Gamescom?
Absolutely. So, Lucas, nice to meet you all. Boa noite. Starting with Gamescom, I've been participating in some conferences around the world. It's great to see how big the community. I mean, everyone knows that a lot of us Brazilians are gamers, so it's great to be here talking about Web3 gaming specifically. But I do work for Double Jump Tokyo for a specific product of ours called N Suite. So Double Jump Tokyo is a Japanese game developer and publisher. It's been in the space since 2018, and now we've been working because of our track record, the relationships that we've built in Japan. We've been working with some of the big IP holders that some of you might know, like Sega, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, and trying to bring some of this IP some of these IPs and educate these companies into how to leverage the technology of blockchain and like try to bring some of these exciting games that we all know to the blockchain gaming world, to the Web3 world. Mostly we're developing our games and publishing our games in the Oasis blockchain. If you don't know it yet, it's good to take a look. The next two big projects that we have are the Battle of the Three Kingdoms, which is a Sega IP. It's probably going to be launched in the end of this year. The other one is not ours, but we're going to publish it. It's called Champion Tactics by Ubisoft. So we're very excited about that one as well. Me specifically in NSuite, like we're focusing helping the game developers, the gaming teams to operate this new technology. So we know that a lot of the developers, a lot of the companies are coming from the Web2 world or just from the normal gaming like world. And some of the tooling and some of the difficulties that come with the technology can be made much more effective and safer for certain solutions, much like NSuite. So I'll be trying to share a little bit more about what it means to have ownership, not only giving ownership to games, but also owning your games using blockchain technology as a company, as the owner of your own IP and your digital assets.
That's great. Thank you, Lucas. And I want to start with you. Yeah, give applause for Lucas. Awesome. Yeah, I want to know in the corporate side, how would you define ownership, right? In this new era of digital assets, how would you define it?
So I think the concept of ownership when it comes to the players, I normally say that blockchain is a native technology to gaming just because all of the gamers have been investing so much time in the games. Sometimes they invest in their own money, in the equipment that they're buying, the skins in the games. So the technology comes very naturally in terms of, okay, now I'm not only investing all the money, but I get to own this asset as well. I get to own my character, I get to own my items, the in-game currency. But you have to remember that in order to make this available, you also have to develop these assets and you have to own these assets at a certain point and you have to own your IP as a company. That means deployment of smart contracts. That means minting of NFTs. That means a lot of testing that goes before you have your game ready for beta, for alpha before that, and certainly before launching on mainnets. So what we think of when we think about ownership is like, how do you make sure that these companies, free self-custody, that's what we look at. So like real ownership, not going through the like centralized way of giving the custody of your assets to any of the other companies. How do you do that in a safe way? Because now, just to get like slightly more technical, but I don't think it's anything difficult to understand. But inside of the gaming company, you have your addresses, you have your wallet, but your wallet is the company wallet. And when you have your developers needing to deploy a smart contract, these developers will have to sign a transaction because deploying a smart contract is effectively the signature of the transaction. And you don't want to hand out your private keys or the keys to your vault of your company, the treasure of your company to these developers all the time. Not because you don't trust them, but because, there's a lot of turnaround in these companies for whatever reason. You want to have more control into that. Also, if you're minting NFTs and distributing them or making airdrops, you don't want to necessarily give the keys to the vault or the private keys to the wallets directly to the people who are doing that. So that's how we think about ownership, is to make sure that you as a company, you understand the risks and how the inefficiencies that might come with a Web3 operation that comes with a hybrid scope together with your normal gaming technology and your normal gaming operations. So what we help companies to do specifically in Iron States, we help with the delegation of these activities. So all of a sudden you don't have to give the keys to the vault to anyone. You just have whoever's in charge of certain operations to make a request that is going to be approved, and only the founder, the CEO, whoever needs to have the keys to the vault or the private keys to the wallet, that's the person who's going to be signing it. So just to kind of summarize, ownership is not only about giving ownership to gamers, ownership to users, but also understanding the risks and also kind of like the operational efficiencies that you want to take into consideration while building a game.
Wow, yeah, that was more complex than I imagined, but of course, it is what it is. Yes, my contracts, the key of your company, basically. So it's a very good solution. Perfect, thank you for that. Martin, can you please explain us for you right now, how would you define ownership for players?
Let's say for players, okay? So for me, it's basically, if it's yours, you can sell it, okay? And you can do whatever you want. You can just change it. And probably, most of you guys, I don't know exactly, but GameStop was here in Brazil, right? For a couple of years, I think. GameStop, I believe so. Right? It was the largest trading company for games in the US. And the reason why we survived so many years is because I remember I'm old, so I went through a lot of consoles, gaming consoles. And I remember buying the CDs, okay? So I used to play the CD. And once that I finished the game, I went to GameStop and I changed that CD or that DVD or whatever to another game, okay? Or they gave me a discount. And I believe that we lost that because we started playing, on the subscription model, the digital downloads. We started playing on the App Store and the Google Play, and we totally forget about the fact that we were paying real money for a game that actually I cannot change. I cannot, take back part of my investment in a way. No? And so I think that the first thing is, if it's yours, you can sell it. Okay, so that for some players, it is important, and I believe that blockchain is a way to solve that. And the second one for me is creative economy. We have a lot of players that are really creative and they want to create some things in the game. So why not, making some dollars by your creations? Okay, if you have a game that is a platform that you can create a 3D art, that you can create a new level, that you can create a new character, what cannot you sell that to the whole community? You cannot do that in the Xbox, you cannot do that in the PlayStation, Google Play, App Store, but you can do that in the blockchain. And I believe that is, the best way to create a circular economy among players. And I'm totally for that. The games that we are, building right now are based on that idea that if you are a creator, not everyone is, but if you are a creator, you can sell your creations to the, to the whole community. And that's about, for me, ownership, real ownership.
That's so true, Martin, so true, because I always say that example that gamers lose that, right? We have the power, we have the freedom we have a CD Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and we could resell it. But we lose that because of the technology improvement of Epic Games, Steam. And now with blockchain, we recover that. We have now, again, the power that we used to have. So, yeah,
100%. Exactly.
that's right. Thank you so much. Leonardo, please, how can you redefine the ownership for gaming in your case?
Okay, so I was thinking here, for me personally, that's a very philosophical question, right? Like, what is owning something in your culture? You don't own the game itself. Like, every player gonna have their own experience, their own history, and how they're gonna experiment with the game. And normally, what we wanted to say from that is actually save. Like, we can say, for example, Steam. We can use Steam as one of the points. Like, one of the main points for you is not the idea of how you can own on Steam a game, how you can download that anywhere, and how you can access the saves that you had. So, Elden Ring just released the DLC. I didn't want to restart with my new character from the beginning. I wanted to play with my last character that I didn't play for a whole year. I own that character. It is something that is important. It is the part of the history. It's actually the most important part of the game for me. It is my experience of the game. And I was able to recover that and start playing directly to the DLC. So I own my Ocarina of Time, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time from Nintendo 64. I still own the cartridge, but I don't play with the cartridge anymore. I can say that I own, but what is the actually probability that I'm going to get on my Nintendo 64? I'm going to get all the things that I need to install to place my own cartridge in there so I can start playing. What I actually mean owning. So today in a community and in a culture that is so vastly instant, Web3 starts getting the possibility for us to own something. But for me, the question should be like, players actually, they want to own things. Like, we don't own the movies that we watch on Netflix, but we doesn't care about it. Like, we just consume that very fast. Some things we wanted to own, like some things specifically we wanted to own. But we wanted to own not only like, we have two kinds of options. We have the people that wanted to actually just collect and they're never gonna touch that. And we have the people that wanted to remember, like revisit that. But the technology today is not accessible. Like again, Ocarina of Time. I don't want to go through all the trouble to replay Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64. I just wanted to open my Steam and play my game. I think when we start thinking about the best thing that we can start saving for our players right now, that is the easiest. The first thing that we can start focusing is enable them to own what they build inside our games. For me, that's the most important thing that I'm trying to focus right now. It is how you can carry your experience in a way that is meaningful for you, you know? So that's for me is why I'm trying to focus.
That's amazing. Great perspective. I like it very much. Yeah, that experience that we want to share, that want to be with us like for a long time. Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling. Is like gamers. We do want that? And actually, talking about ownership. For example, this hoodie that I'm wearing right now is an NFT. It's an OpenSea. This is just a physical version, but it's like that, right? That you need to remember. For my metaverse, I can use this from in my avatar, and they will recognize me, right? So that the experience, the moments, it's super important. Yeah. So, Lucas, I want to get back to you with this question: Is how do you see the new onboarding to players, or maybe even companies? How that narrative do you think could have changed?
So in my opinion, 2021, we all know what happened afterwards, So that was that brought a lot of the some reputation to the Web3 gaming world. And now what I see, the main part of the transition is twofold in the sense of, one, this is not sustainable. All the companies that try to give those incentives and build the bad behavior in the tokenomics, they're out of the game already. Second is, you're starting to see a lot of the companies who stay really focusing on play. So I talk with a lot of builders, I talk with a lot of companies in these conferences here during the day, for example. People are really focusing on how can I build a good game to attract users, to onboard users, and then make them realize that they are not only playing, but they also kind of are alluding a little bit to what they were saying. They get to own what they're the extract of what they're doing there gets to be something that they own. They might realize that afterwards or not, but then that's it. And on the infra side of stuff, I think we can all see all these great solutions that are coming to just eliminate the friction. Before, you had Web3 gaming players. That means people who understood the technology, understood that they have to have a wallet, and through the wallet they get to log into the game. And that is like a whole process, Even now when I'm talking about private keys, this can be a little bit tricky depending on the player. Now you have all these abstraction solutions that enable the industry as a whole actually to onboard all these players. And then you can only have a single pool of gamers. Forget about Web3, forget about blockchain, think about a feature, think about a technology enablement, much like you used to own your cartridges and now you're just downloading your games. Before you used to play a lot and just spend a lot of money and time, and that was it. Your items were sitting on the server. Now they actually are sitting in your wallet. So I think that is the main transition we're seeing in terms of how it's easier for gamers to play the games and how the builders, game developers themselves, they are taking it more seriously from the perspective of let's not focus on the earn, let's focus on the play.
Yeah, that's right. 100% true. Yeah. So we need to more gamers, and they don't even know that maybe it's a blockchain game, but they are playing because they are enjoying it. And then they will realize that, this is an NFT, what I want, beating this boss. I didn't know. And then they are going to start doing their wallets, that they are going to a marketplace and everything, right? But the narrative has changed, that's right. It's players that are coming to the Web3 that they didn't even know it was a Web3 game, but they are here, they are making community, even participating in tournaments, and in the tournaments they are paying them on a wallet, and now they can download the wallet and do everything, right? That's the way, that's right. So, Martin, how do you see the difference between 2021 and now about the new onboarding to players?
The new Margin. The new what? Sorry?
The onboarding on players, yes.
2021, there was no onboarding. It was put your MetaMask and start playing. I remember that when I tried to play the first blockchain game in my life, I've been working in technology for 30 years. I couldn't find a way, to be honest with you. So there wasn't any type of onboarding at the beginning. It was just for the niche of the niche of the niche of blockchain developers that they were trying to do something more interesting than just DeFi, and they started doing video games. But and with all the respect, the first game that was released at that time, it's even hard to say that they were really games, okay? Because they were, just clickers doing a gamified DeFi experience. But it wasn't a game at the end, because it wasn't fun to be played for starters. So I believe that for that audience, it's totally fine. And then we realized that, come on, blockchain should be transparent. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be a category. I believe that the moment that the category blockchain gaming disappears is the moment that we are successful. It's like having a multiplayer game. Nobody is. It should be just a feature and not the core of the game. So I believe that thanks to a lot of technologies, companies like Serial, now Sequence, and no more are developing amazing technology that, as today, as a gaming developer, you have no excuse to try to implement new technology and new business model in your game. Only if it makes sense. Okay, that's the other thing that we realized. I saw so many companies trying to launch a token for the sake of fundraising that you wouldn't believe it. And now they are all dead. Okay? But the ones that launch the token and the NFT, thinking first on the players, are the ones that are successful nowadays. So at the end of the day, in a summary, blockchain should be totally transparent. And we have the technology to say, okay, I'm going to create a wallet for you using your email account. I'm going to take care of your gas fees. We make a transaction. You don't have to buy any token at all if you don't want. And if you want, you can buy an NFT using your credit card in the App Store and Google Play. So we are there, okay? So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just use what is available. Now,
Yeah, that's right. That's the way. That's the way that players are going to play games that they don't even know it's a blockchain game, and they are going to continue playing and doing all the experience. That's super cool. And I know that we should eliminate like blockchain category. It's only gaming because players we love to game, and then it's technology behind. It's great, perfect, and yeah, I know it's going to be this way from now on. Thank you, Martin.
it's a process.
It's a process, yeah. Well, this is for the final, or this final. Leonardo, can you tell us more about like the boarding process? So you can answer this question also, the boarding process. How do you think it's going to impact in the next years the blockchain gaming? Yes, we're going to finish with you. Right.
What do you mean by working in process? Like how we change the way that we're making games to add the Web3, you mean?
Yeah, how do you think will be the best way to onboard new users to a game? Yeah.
Yeah, I think right now I'm going, like I agree a lot with the others, but for the sake of the conversation, I'm going to bring like an antithesis here, so we can maybe synthesize something after. From the point that I see onboarding players right now from 2021 to now, we have come and look to what Web2 has been doing. But Web2 gamers are having their own time learning. I feel like we are looking to the past trying to get to where Web2 are without understanding the possibilities of Web3. And I'm not saying that that's something bad, like it is part of the model. We needed to focus on something that is working first. So we needed to get at least on the point of where Web2 is going. We can see a lot of success on things like NFL Rivals. I think they are a great successful option that we can see how they onboard players and the game feel completely as a Web2 game. You can transform your Web2 items in Web3 by paying inside the game. So it's really a mix on how you bring players, and out of nowhere, you are a player that understands, oh, okay, I actually already own NFTs. The game already creates for me a wallet. I didn't have to come with anything of the art part. Like, we are taking away the responsibility from understanding the technology from the users and bringing to the game designers and to the game itself. So that's a check, very positive. Like, players should do that. But we need to understand why we did that as well. We're doing that because Web3 becomes something that is not approachable for people that doesn't understand the possibilities that, and because of them, a lot of scams happen. Like, it is impossible for us to advance on this conversation if we didn't acknowledge there was a technology used for pirate schemes and fake bank accounts. Like, it happened. We need to understand that the public is serious like that, and how we can approach this public and create trust again, right? I think we look into Web2 as a good starting path, this seamless transition, but it's not going to work in the long run, for me, or at least for my view, because we are using the idea of Web2, trying to make Web2 work. For me, what is gonna happen is something outside, like outsider from anything that we're doing, even from games itself, is going to finally understand Web3 and to bring an experience that is not a Web2 experience, that is trying to copycat some Web2. And I'm there. I'm not like I'm doing that. But for me, we need someone that actually creates a Web3 game that we look that it cannot be done as a Web2. It is, I don't know if you guys know about Darkwood. It was a Web3 game created very, like, like a very experimental Web3 game. The game was, all the game was in the blockchain. You were enabled to see, like, you just could see the game when you look to the blockchain. So the fog of war, like, you couldn't see the status of the game unless you look to the blockchain. And every time that you look, the game changed a lot because a lot of people are changing the game. Everything of the possibilities of the game was enabled. The first player to win, he created a new protocol so he can use more actions in the game than the other players. And he made that available because it's in the blockchain. So by winning the game, he improved the game. I'm not saying that that's the reason, that's what we should be doing. I'm just presenting something that is impossible to do in a Web2 game. That is a game that was created by the players, that was improved by the players, that the monetics of the game was made by the players, and they own the game by themselves. The creator of the game just enabled them with the basic idea and tried to control the minimum of the balance. And that was it. So for me, when we finally were able to understand how to create a game like that, we can start understanding, like, how can we onboard players to something that they can only experiment, that we can provide, and they cannot find on a mobile again. I think that's the next step that I have no idea where it's coming from, but I don't think it's going to come directly from our, from the people that are around. It's going to be like an outsider that is not thinking about, like, the boxes that we're looking. Because we have too much to lose. Even more of Latin America developers, it doesn't have sometimes, like, there are a lot of budget to experiment. We need to make a game and we need to put it there. So it doesn't have, like, we need to look to models that work. So that's for me why we are looking to Web2 now. It makes sense, it is safe, but it's not the right answer, you know? That's at least for me.
Thank you, Leonardo. Yeah, power to the players. So thank you for your point of view. It's super important for us. And yes, thank you everyone for being here.